Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sandman. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Multipick Sandman starter and beginner pick sets. Let's get into it. So about 6 months ago, I did a video called the best beginner lockpick sets, and I featured a Christina Palmer pick set from Multipick, and it's an excellent pick set. I still stand behind that recommendation. However, it was pushing well above $50. I think it was floating around the $60 price range or more. And so I reached out to Multipick and said, hey, I would really love to see some pick sets that are around the $25 and $50 range instead of the $100 and $200 range that you guys are known for. And they said, well, what would you recommend? So I did a free consultation for Multipick, and I recommended the starter set, the beginner set, an intermediate set, and an advanced set. And I have reviews for all the other sets, the intermediate and the advanced, and I'll provide a link in the description down below if you wanted to check those out. So it was a free consultation. I was just saying, hey, this is what I think the UK and the North American demographic want. This is what they want. This is the price range. These are the tools that are not only effective, but they're currently popular among other brands and competitors. And this is what I would love to see. They went to work and they decided to put some sets together. Then they reached out to me sometime in July, about 3 or 4 months later, and they said, we like your consultation. Would it be okay if we gave you credit for the consultation and put your name on the sets? And I said, sure. So that's it. That's the end of the story. Like I have now 4 lockpick sets with my name attached to them. I don't make a single dime off of any of these tools as of to date. I didn't ask for any money. I'm just glad that I was able to contribute to Locksport in my own little way. And that is trying to get the best tools in the hands of lockpickers at an affordable rate. I've been picking locks for 18 years now, going back to 2007. I started picking locks in the Marines in Iraq. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I actually became a locksmith in 2010. And it wasn't until then that I actually discovered Locksport as a hobby for lockpicking. It used to just be I picked locks because it was a tool in the toolbox that you may need to rely on. I didn't realize there was an actual hobby and a sport in and of itself. So since 2010, I've been a part of Locksport. From 2014 to 2018, I actually helped build content for a website called The Art of Lockpicking, where I did interviews of a lot of famous lockpickers like the lockpicking lawyer, Deviant Olaf, just to name a few. And I was actually one of the very first people and only people to do an interview of lockpicking lawyer back then. I think that might have been 2015, 2016 timeframe. So I've been a part of Locksport for a long time. I am active in the karate belt ranking system. Currently, at the time of this video, I am a red belt and I have picked 1 black belt level lock. I just need to pick 1 more and do some side quests to get my black belt. So I absolutely love it. I also run my own Locksport group called Bat City Locksport. I've been going to Locksport meetup groups since 2010, and I've probably been to about, I don't know, 30 to 50 of them over the last 15 years. And I'm just very active. So aside from just having a lot of experience, I'm also really just known for being a collector. And I have in my collection probably between 50 to 100 lockpick sets. And I have, out of 30, I probably have somewhere between 25 or 26 brands represented out of 30 here. And then I have about 5 discontinued brands, and I have another 3 that are all made by the same manufacturer. So I probably have, oh man, I don't know, 30 plus manufacturers represented in my collection across 50 to 100 different unique pick sets. I've lost count a long time ago. So my recommendation to them was to be minimalist and simplistic and keep the price down, but keep the functionality and practicality high. I knew that the quality control was there. Multipick puts out some of the best tools in the world. So Multipick uses somewhere around a 400 series stainless steel. Now, 400 series surgical stainless steel usually boasts around 250,000 pounds per square inch of ultimate tensile strength. However, that's all going to be dependent upon the manufacturing process. There is another steel out there that other companies use called 301 high yield, very expensive to invest into, and those numbers are very similar. Sometimes a 400 series steel can be stronger than a 301 high yield and vice versa. It just depends on the manufacturing process, but we do have one of the strongest tool steels on the market, hands down. And there's only one other manufacturer that uses this tool steel, and they are considered the most expensive lockpick manufacturer in the world. So it's just, there's very few people that are in this classification right here. Most people are producing tools at a 301 full hard, which is half the strength, or a 1095 hard carbon, just because it's very inexpensive, but the quality control is severely lacking. I do personally feel that Multipick is a best of the best, high quality, high functionality and transparency. This company has been around for well over 20 years, and I've been working with them for about 2 years now on doing product reviews and doing product testings. I have prototypes of several other products that are currently in the works, so I really enjoy working with them. These pick sets are going to fall between a Little Timmy and a Timothy price range. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, just right around there. So the starter set right now on the website, if you are looking at buying things in North America using USD, the starter set came in about $16. That's pretty hard to beat. And the beginner pick set came in at about $29 to $30, which is pretty amazing. So between the Little Timmy and the Timothy pick set. However, right now, Multipick is running a 10% off sale if you use the MPYT Sand 10. That's Multipick YouTube Sand, as in Sandman 10, for 10% off any given time, as long as they are running that. And I think that's good for up to 8 unique items in your shopping cart. So you can buy up to 8 pick sets. There is no dollar limit as to what you are trying to purchase. That should apply. But also, Multipick is going to be running a Black Friday sale from November 29th to December 2nd, and you should be able to catch these things off at a hugely discounted rate. But if you are catching this video after November 29th and December 2nd, after the Black Friday sale, if you're catching this video a little bit late because it's going to be up for a while, check out this discount code in the link description down below. Check it out. I'll provide links to all the products, and I'll provide the discount code down there as well. So let's go ahead and talk about these sets. So starting with the starter set, I just have a basic Bogota and a flat hook and a double-ended tension wrench. Let's talk about the double-ended tension wrench. This was designed by Christina Palmer, the famous lockpick designer, and she has been designing lockpicks for well over 15 years, been picking locks, I think, since the 1970s. She told me once over the phone. She is just a wealth of knowledge. She's so intelligent. I'm very fortunate for the time that I got to spend talking to her and picking her brain, and understanding that 2/3 of the lockpick manufacturing industry in space have all taken consultation from her and are using her designs currently, because she has never asked for any type of financial kickback for her designs. She just keeps those designs freely available on her website. So Christina Palmer, and I went with a 1 millimeter, which is about 40 thousandths in thickness. A 1 millimeter, you probably could just get by with just making that alone, or using that alone across all North American locks. So it's coming in about 39 thousandths of an inch, just shy of that 40 thou. This is most common. You're going to see a 40 thousandths is quite common in North American pick sets, such as the FNG from Covert Instruments. And I think Jimy Longs is actually using a 0.8 millimeter, somewhere closer to a 30 thou for his, but I went with a 1 millimeter here. And we have a short end on that double end here for top of keyway picking, and then we have a longer end for bottom of keyway for when we are raking, or if we need a shelf to lift up on highly paracentric keyways. So this will honestly slay 90% of the locks in the world just in and of it by itself. You can even use this as a tensioning tool for dimple locks. We also have a short flat hook, also known as a lifter hook or just a regular flat hook. We have the Multipick etching here with the initials B and J up here, and that's the owner of the company. I'm sorry if I'm not in focus there. Let me get in focus. There we go. So we have B and J in the crown right there. Multipick Germany. And then something that only Multipick does out of all the lockpick manufacturers in the entire world is they put etching right here with a serial number. So it says Elite PN60, and the PN is their 6 millimeter line. line of tools. And then we have the 0.6 millimeter, and then we have the actual serial number right there, the serial number. So, and then the year that this was manufactured. So if you buy these tools and for any reason these tools were to fall apart on you, or I don't know if they come bent or deformed out of the package, anything that would could be considered a warranty issue that has nothing to do with being abused by the user, then you can reach out to Multipick and look into getting these things replaced, because they keep a record of all the tools that leave Bonn, Germany, where these are manufactured. Here on the back side, in that this 0.6 millimeter, we do have a really nice design of different, looks like different rakes. We got ball hook, we got an S rake and a half diamond and a few other things like there. It's just, why have a boring lockpick when you can have a beautiful design? And also it really helps with tool identification. The 0.4 millimeter actually says 0.4 on the back, where this has the design of the lockpick. So no matter how you put these into your lockpick case, you'll know exactly just by looking at it what size you are looking at. And then here we have a standard Bogota or a triple peak from Multipick here, and we can look and it says BOG03 and it says 6.6 millimeter, and it has the serial number and the year that it was manufactured as well. In my product testing, in my experience, I have all of the rakes that are on the market completely, like every rake that is available on the market, all of them. I have all 107 profiles from Multipick. I have everything from Covert Instruments, everything from Jimy Longs. I have it all. I have everything. And from my product testing, I really like the Bogota rake right here, that triple peak there. I've always felt that I've had a higher probability of success while raking North American pin tumbler locks. Whether they have security pins or not, doesn't matter. That Bogota is going to slay. The way I teach lock picking, because I go to lock sport meetup groups and I tend to help instruct and teach. The way that I teach lock sport and lock picking is I teach what's called a Sandman method. And the Sandman method is, we are going to first start out with learning how to rake a lock, and that is using bottom of keyway tension, using the double-sided tensioner. I'm going to use the long end, and I'm going to insert the Bogota, and I'm going to rake the lock like that, because I want the rake to be on top of that tensioner right there. I want it to take up this space. If I try to use the short end at the top of the keyway and I insert the rake at the bottom, what's going to happen is I'm not really making great contact with those pins, and as soon as I do, I'm going to pull that rake right out. So I want to use bottom of the keyway only for raking. I would say that using bottom of keyway for single pin picking, which I'm going to show you next, is actually an intermediate skill set. It's being able to try to find the right tools to create a platform or a shelf for picking those highly paracentric locks, which are keyways that have a little bit more warding and what I would call access control restrictions. So the second method that I teach, a part of the Sandman method, is we're going to use top of keyway, and I'm going to use a flat hook or a rounded hook or a sharp hook, any type of hook, but in this particular case, I have my flat hook, and I'm going to pick from the bottom of the keyway, and I'm going to lift up all of the pins individually as I feel them one by one, and I go to pick the lock. The benefit of that is, as I said, if I were to insert the long end and then I were to insert my tool, I'm already oversetting some of my pins. You can still do this. I can still pick this lock using bottom of keyway, but ideally we want to use top of keyway while single pin picking. So the method of lifting each individual pin one at a time, that's the goal of single pin picking. Now the benefit to that is I have a much higher level of control and feedback and some sensitivity that is being transmitted from the pin to the shank into my hand. And that's what's great about having these all metal popsicle stick style handles or sandwiched handles. That is what's the benefit of that, is that you're going to have all the feedback going from the pins into your hand, into your picking hand. This is going to be desired when you start moving up the scale of difficulty in locks here. So I have a collection of locks ranked from easiest to hardest, white belt through black belt. Once you get into the orange belt range, you're going to start seeing more and more security pins, and then it just gets crazy from purple belt on, as these are the high security locks moving forward. I get someone asking me in every video, Sandman, where can I buy this? I have a video on these. Yeah, just take a look and you'll find it. This was a $750 set of locks that I curated by myself. So this is not something that you're going to be able to buy on the market. But I digress. You want to be able to learn single pin picking because you want to be able to pick locks with security pins and eventually get up to picking high security locks. You are never going to be able to rake a Medico biaxial or a Medico M3 or M4. Someone will say, well, I've seen it once. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I've been able to rake a Medico Classic or Medico Original as well. It's a high security lock, but you can rake them. It's just a matter of probability and chance. But the chances of you actually raking anything higher than a Medico Original, such as a biaxial or M3 or M4, is highly improbable. That's why we do want to get into learning the single pin picking using a flat hook style lifter hook or just hook in general pick. So let's go ahead and move on to the the beginner pick set here. And the beginner pick set is the exact same thing as the starter kit. And we have those 3 tools right here, but I added 3 more tools. And so I have a medium rounded hook, and then I have 2 more tensioners in 3 different thicknesses. Why do we want those different thicknesses? If I were to take my orange belt lock here, we see a Yale Y1 or Y6 keyway here, and it is highly paracentric, and I may not be able to get the thicker tools in here for top of keyway, so I want to have a selection of tools that'll fit that top of keyway. Also for bottom of keyway, because it's highly paracentric here, I may have trouble getting that thicker tool in here, just like I am having trouble now, and we want to have some options here. So using a thinner tool. So this is a 0.8 millimeter, and we have the 1 millimeter, and we have the 1.3 millimeter double-ended turning tool, all designed by Christina Palmer. And then we have our flat hook and our Bogota rake, but we have the added bonus of a medium rounded hook. The benefit of a medium rounded hook is going to be based off of bitting or key bitting, which is just another fancy way of saying we have high and low pins. Sometimes you can have a very shallow or short pin in the front, and you want to pick around that and get to a deep pin in the front and a shallow pin behind that. And that's just something that we do. Let's see if I can actually just draw a picture for that for you guys right here. So sometimes in a lock, we have a really low cut pin, and then the second pin could be very shallow and not as low. If I come in here with a flat hook, I'm not going to be able to get around this pin without it oversetting right here, and it's going to set it right above the shear line. What we want to do is come in under that front pin with a medium rounded hook and hit that second pin if we have to before we hit that first pin. Ideally, we want to always hit the longer pins first, but we don't have control over that. That's called a binding order. So having a medium rounded hook allows us to deal with locks that have a frustrating bitting, and it allows us to negotiate that difficult binding order. So you get 3 picks, 2 lifter picks for single pin picking, 1 rake, and 3 double-ended turning tools. Honestly, if I had to, you know what? I was going to say if I had to go between the 2, I guess I could go with this. It's a little bit more versatile, but also because I am a little bit more skilled, I could do a lot of damage, a lot of good and a lot of bad with just these 3 tools right here. Alternatively, that is what I recommend to people that I teach. When I teach lock sport, when I hold my Bat City lock sport group, when I go to lock sport meetup groups, when I'm teaching people online, whether it is through Facebook or when I'm talking to people through Instagram or anything like that, Reddit, Discord, I'm always usually referring to a rake and a lifter pick and just a double-ended turning tool in about 40 thousandths or 1 millimeter. This is really all you need, but this is going to be a little bit more versatile and get you into even more locks. It all just comes down to personal preference, and it comes down to pricing and personal financial restrictions. So all of these tools are in 0.6 millimeter. Also, that it's going to equate. We usually call it 23 thou, but it's a little bit north of 23.5 thousandths. So 0.6 millimeter, and this is a really great for starter and beginner lock picks because you're going to be less likely to bend the tools. They're going to be a little bit more durable. In my intermediate and advanced set, I do have tools that are going to be in 0.4 millimeter or about 15.5 thou. We also call it just 16 thou because we round up. So these tools, as I mentioned, you're looking at about $16 USD for the starter set and about $30 USD for the beginner set. It could be that you're like, man, all I got is 15 bucks. What do you recommend, Sandman? This is what I recommend. But if you have a little bit more money to throw into your hobby and you want to get a really great start on having high quality tools in your collection, go with the beginner pick set. Now then, what are these sets missing? Well, you don't have to invest in the intermediate or the advanced pick set right now. I would recommend that you start off with a starter or beginner pick set, and then your next purchase after that could very well be a Sandman expansion pick set. So I have a set of 3 rounded hooks, a set of 3 flat hooks, and a set of 3 thins, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And these are all in 0.4 millimeter or 16 thousandths of an inch. So if you have the Sandman starter pick set and you want to expound upon that, build upon that without investing in an intermediate or advanced set, which is going to have duplicates of these 3 tools, then just get the expansion set number 3, and that's going to give you some rounded hooks in 0.4 millimeter to add to your flat hook and your Bogota. Or if you're just in love, maybe you purchased the beginner pick set and you're like, yeah, I use the rounded hook sometimes, but I really love that flat hook, but I have trouble getting it into really tight keyways. Well, check out the Sandman set number 1, and you can get yourself in 0.4 millimeter a low hook, a medium hook, and a deep hook, all flat hooks. For all different pin variation and bitting. So same thing with the Sandman expansion set number 3. We have a shallow, a medium, and a deep. Well, for flat hook profiles, we also have a shallow, a medium, and a deep. And if you want to get into picking locks like American Lock and Master Lock with those really small pins, because those pins are a lot smaller than most standard residential and commercial key and knob and mortise cylinders that we see here in North America, then I would love to recommend you looking into these thins. These thins here were designed by Christina Palmer, and I think they're just absolutely perfect for picking those really small pin tumbler locks because they just have really small pins. And so we have a shallow, a medium, and a deep, all in 0.4 millimeter. If you were to add that to any of these sets, it basically makes it into a Sandman advanced pick set. You're just missing a couple of the tension wrenches. So that would be my recommendation. I really should do a review just on the expansion sets, and I think I need to do that. I'm going to do that. So that's all I have for today, folks. I think I've hit everything that I want to do. Check out the Black Friday sale on November 29th and December 2nd. And if you have missed the Black Friday sale, check out, take everything to your shopping cart that you want to get and try the code. I don't know. Hopefully it still works. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Try this 10% discount code. It's good at all times. It's good up to 8 items in your shopping cart. No dollar limit. I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get anything. I get nothing, other than just knowing that I'm providing high quality tools at an affordable cost to all my friends that are watching right now. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Do you own a Sandman pick set? What do you think these sets are missing? Should I have added something? Do you think there should be another expansion of tools that we should add to this so that way people can just invest in a beginner pick set and then buy another expansion of tools that you think this is missing? Maybe the expansion should be some dimple picks or maybe some more tension wrenches or something like that. Let me know in the comments down below. I really am interested in your guys' thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Multipick, for letting me consult for your company. You are definitely the best lockpick manufacturer in the world, hands down, bar none. I love everything that you guys put out. Looking forward to collaborating with you guys in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.